Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Jarvis S. Scott with What's Happening Birmingham. I'm back again today. A good friend, a familiar face, Talibah Bayles of TMB Tax and Financial Services. Talibah, welcome back.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to come on today.
Great. So 2022 tax season is here. That's all we can say. And I guess people need to buckle up your seatbelts real fast. The first question, I just got to ask because the viewers always want to know, if you're expecting to get that rapid refund, will you get it this year?
Well, there are tax companies that are doing the rapid refunds. So yeah, they are still available. Of course, I will say this, that those companies are definitely in the space to try to balance the issue that's currently going on with the delay of everything with the IRS. So it was only so much, I would say, regulation and hindrance that the IRS really could do on those type of companies. But yeah, they're still doing the rapid advances. We're not participating in that, but absolutely there are companies that are allowing taxpayers to take advantage of that.
Okay, so I want to get that question out of the way. Some of you viewers that's probably wondering in your mind, what are the changes for this year coming up? Because in the past year, we've had a lot of stuff, whether it was stimulus money, child tax credit, PPP, whatever, the thing that the government was still giving to taxpayers, in response to COVID-19. So let's just kick that off. What are some of your things?
Okay. Yeah, so I have four major tips, let's call them tips, that I want us to make sure that we cover today so that the listeners can be fully prepared. And you heard this from the first part of what I just talked about and that's the big word, delay, right? So on your social media timelines, the news, everywhere you see IRS, you see the word delay. And that is because the IRS is still very much behind. There are still 2020 tax returns still being processed. And so I want to lead with that because that's going to really dictate all of the tips that we have to go over so that you're prepared for that. And I know that's why you asked about the rapid refunds, because it's like, come on, we need our money now, right? And why are we being penalized because the IRS is behind? So I totally get that. The first thing, though, that I have to say to that point is you want to try to make sure that on all costs that you are electronically filing your tax return. Now, I know that sometimes you may have to have an amended tax return especially if you're still doing maybe prior years and amending prior years, but you want to try to make sure that you're able to electronically file all your tax returns, okay? And that is going to be directly in response to the word delay. And you're still going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks on processing. And that's the heavy side. It really should be less than that. But I try to set expectations. But if you have to mail anything, and maybe there are some that you just absolutely have to mail, then I want you to just know that it's going to take a very long time for your paper tax return to be processed. So the first thing is to make sure that you're electronically filing your tax return.
Okay, so the main thing I know a lot of my viewers and people that's watching got was that child tax credit. What's up with that? I read something about a letter you need to have when you're filing.
Yes. So you definitely want to make sure, and this goes to one of the other tips, and that is making sure that you have all of your documents before you file. Because if you file too quickly, again, just out of wanting to get everything processed, which we all understand, but you miss out on some of the important tax documents that you need, then you're going to have to amend your tax return, which again is going to add to that big word delay. So the letter, if you received advanced child tax credit, which most folks that have dependents, that have children, and met those income requirements, you would have received those advanced child tax credit that everyone knew about last year. If you did, you want to make sure that you wait until you get your letter that says the amount of the advanced child tax credit that you received. Okay. If you filing jointly, what we have realized is that both spouses actually get a letter to represent that total amount. So this is just a sample, if you got $5,000, then the husband has $2,500 and the wife has a $2,500. So for whatever reason, they didn't just send it to one spouse on that total amount. Each spouse, if you filed married, filing jointly, and that tax return is what was used for your calculation, would have got a separate letter. So be on the lookout if you haven't already received it, because most of those letters are already, out and in the mail and people have them in hand. But you definitely want to wait on that letter. And the same thing is going to be for the recovery rebate. If you received any stimulus payments, again, because we know that we have listeners that may be doing prior tax returns as well. So it may not just be the current year. So if you have just recently done a 2020 or 2019, you have a recovery rebate letter, you want to make sure that you have that in hand and you give that to the person who is filing your taxes, because he or she is going to need those letters to make sure that everything has been properly calculated.
Has anything changed in this year in regards to like charitable contributions for the tax year as far as deductions?
Nothing from, it's the same thing. The main thing I want to say, which is a really good question, and this was still for last year's tax returns, but I do want to pull it out since you asked about it. So we do have taxpayers who don't itemize. Right. So it is more beneficial for you to just take the standard deduction. And so even on the tax year 2020 tax return, you had the opportunity to still be able to claim. I think it was up to, I should know these numbers off the top of my head. It's up to $300, $300 or $500 that you would be able to claim of tithing or any charitable contributions, even if you don't itemize. Right. So yes, that still has carried forward to this year. So that's a very good question, especially for those who do not itemize. If you know that you have some charitable contributions that you did, then you definitely want to try to take advantage of still being able to claim a portion of that this year.
Okay, I know you talked about a minute ago about the stimulus check situation. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of people. I don't know where I read. Some people, that was a delay in getting that. Like some people didn't get until to the end of last year, or depending on how they fell in the IRS list.
Yeah. The stimulus payments, I feel like sometimes we're still kind of catching our breath with how things were executed as it relates to even the advanced child tax credits. But yes, we do definitely. I'm sure some of your listeners were one of the ones who either still don't have it, they never got it, or, they got it late in comparison to, some of their friends or family members. But now, and this is why you definitely need to have that letter, say that you didn't get it at all, or your situation changed and that number that's on your recovery rebate credit actually indicates that you should get more money. You're going to have to file that tax return to see if, hey, actually you qualify for $300 more dollars based upon what you have or have already received. So that's what made that letter really is a money opportunity. If you know that you had issues with the recovery rebate credit, you want to definitely make sure that you have the letter that says the amount that you did receive. If you know you never got either stimulus for whatever reason, and that could be, again, because you didn't file tax returns, right? Now, some people who didn't file tax returns still got the stimulus, but then some people did not, right? There was not really a lot of consistency. So if you know that you never received a stimulus, you wouldn't get a letter. But that's where it's going to go on letting your tax professional know that you didn't get a stimulus at all, right? And then now you want to make sure that that tax professional can determine what you're able to claim on your tax return. And I'll even add with that, you want to try to go ahead and get those years filed, right? Because if you didn't get it because you didn't file taxes, go ahead and get caught up so that you're already in line. Should anything else come your way as far as a credit or anything from DC?
Okay. I'm trying to think. Oh, another thing I read too was, is there, like, if you haven't gotten those letters, can you go on irs.gov and get those letters?
Yeah, there are tracking tools on irs.gov, and I'm glad you asked that, because that is another tip that I wrote down for us to discuss this morning, because I think it's vital. It almost should be number one that we talk about, but I'm going to still leave number one is making sure you file electronically. So the IRS has where you can actually create an online account with them. Okay. And you've had that opportunity for a while, but now more than ever, because of the big delay word, if you have any questions about whether or not a prior year was processed, do you have a balance, and you don't know what the balance is, and you're trying to determine what you should pay. If you need copies of your tax transcripts, this IRS online account is a free account on irs.gov that I strongly and highly recommend taxpayers create if you have any questions. And that's going to be in lieu of waiting hours to actually call and ask those questions. A lot of times you can get the answers that you need from this online account. Now, I will be honest, you have to verify your identity, right? And one of the things that becomes a challenge with some of our listeners is, whether or not it's something as simple as, they'll ask, is your cell phone, bill in your name? Do you have a credit card? And you have to verify your identity with some of the things that typically, present a challenge for some of our taxpayers in our community. And so most folks are like, I'm not fooling with it. But I strongly recommend, if you can cross those different challenges to verify your identity, that you should go ahead and create an online account so that you can go in there and just check out what's going on with your tax records and your accounts and everything online. But they do also have those trackers where, because of course some people may just throw stuff away, or you moved and you still waiting on your letters, whatever the case may be. The IRS is definitely trying to improve their client experience, right? We're all clients of the IRS. And so they're trying to make it easier for us to do what we have to do, which is file taxes accurately. So go on irs.gov, try to create your account, but there also are trackers that you don't necessarily have to have an account to be able to do. Okay.
And before I go into, I'm gonna do a quick little separate segment for these business owners, because it's a lot separate. If they want to reach out to you, just, individual taxpayers, how can they reach out to you, and any final thoughts?
So this year, I think this is the first year I've actually said this. So this year, new clients I'm only taking have to be business owners. And that's just because of, as you can see with my shirt, we have really stepped up to serve in a stronger capacity for business owners. So obviously I have individual taxpayers that aren't business owners, because we've been open for 15 years. So I definitely do have individual clients. And if you're just like, Talibah, no, no, I need you to do my taxes. I'm not a business owner. Then I might, I'm just joking. But seriously, we're trying to focus and work exclusively within the small business community across the United States. So if you file a Schedule C as a business owner, if you're an S Corp filing, if you're a C Corp, then you are our new client, and you can get on the schedule, and that's tmbtax.info/schedule. Try to make it simple for you. So tmbtax.info/schedule is my schedule. And if you are a business owner, then please absolutely do get on that schedule so that we can determine exactly how we can help you this tax season.
Okay, so we're gonna do the second segment, you all. Thank you all for watching the first segment. Please check out what'shappenedbirmingham.com for more interviews. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and on Apple Podcasts. So join me on there. So let's get ready for the second segment. Thank you all again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.